Journal articles are gold for your assignments and your research project, but referencing them can get real messy real fast. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to cite journal articles in Harvard style, both print and online journal articles. My name is Lerato Kanamsa, your academic best friend from All Things Academia, where we explore and explain all things in the academic world. So you have found this perfect article and you have used it in your assignment or your research paper, but now you are stuck thinking to yourself, is there a difference when you are citing a printed journal article or an online article? And you're thinking to yourself, what do I do with the DOI number? And where does the volume and the issue number go? Well, take a breather, relax. I got you. Let's break this down. So let's start with the printed journals. Your classic kind of journals, the old school kind, like this one here. So this is a print of a journal article that has a lot of good information, and we're going to start with this kind of journals. So when you are citing in text, as always, never changing, standard, it is the author's surname, which is the last name, followed by the year of publication, the date that the source was published. In this kind of journals, you find different articles, so you cite the author of the article that you are referring to or whose words you have used, including the year in which the journal itself was published. For example, if you are citing an article written by Ngubane and the article in the journal was published 2020, you're going to say Ngubane, 2020. That's just how you cite in text. And remember, if you are doing a direct quote, then obviously you will have to put the page number as the source locator of where you got that information. Moving along now to the reference list. How do you enter this in a reference list? You will go Ngubane, initial of the author, which in this case we're going to say P, followed by a period or a full stop, as some may refer to it. Then in brackets you put the date or the year of publication, which is 2020. Then you put the article's name, the name of the article, in quotation marks to show that it is the name of the article. All right. And then after that, you put a comma and you put the name of the journal in italics to show that this is the journal's name. And then you put a comma and you put the volume number, which is the number of the volume. In this case, it is this number where it says vol 19. You put the number of the volume, and then you put the issue number in brackets after the volume number, comma. Then remember the source locator, because that article that's within this journal is starting from a certain page and it ends at a certain page. You need to give that page range. So you'll say PP, which stands for pages, plural, because it's a lot of pages within that range. So you say PP, and then you say page 45 to page 60 as an example. That's how we're going to enter this journal into the reference list. Take note of the punctuation. You need to put the title of the article in quotation marks so that it shows the title. Then you put the journal itself in italics so that it shows that this is a journal. And that's how you do the printed journal. Okay, so now we're going to move along to the online journal. The online journals are the ones that we use the most as students and in academia. I know I use a lot of online journals because they're accessible and they're just easy to use, okay? And the green people, the eco-friendly type, like them because you're not required to cut down the poor trees to make papers to print these journals. Back to the topic. So online journals normally come with the DOI number, all right? If they include that, you need to include it on your referencing, all right? Because it points to the direct article. So here is an example. Just like the printed journal, you cite the last name or the surname of the author, comma, and then the year or the date of publication of that journal. That is in-text citation. And again, if you're going to do a direct quote, then you need to add the source locator, which is the page. All right. So when it comes to the referencing, let's see where you place the DOI number. Let's say the journal article that you are citing is written by Mkize. You're going to write Mkize, comma, the initial of the author, which is now Z, followed by a full stop. In brackets, you're going to put the date of publication, which is the year. In quotation marks, you're going to put the title of the article, and then comma, and then you put the name of the journal in italics, comma, then you put the volume number, brackets, the issue number, comma, you put PP, the page range of the journal article. And then you finish with the DOI number, which is the footprint of the journal article that points the reader directly to that article when clicked. So sometimes you reading this journal article and it's good and it's online and it's all well, but it does not have the DOI number. What do you do in that situation? Is not panic, is not sort out. You simply replace the DOI number with the URL of that journal article. Okay, so when you open the page and you're reading that article, on the top of the browser, there is a URL, and that is what you copy and paste into your reference to replace the DOI number. So the only thing that you'll need to remember, as I will show you here with this example, is that when you replace the DOI with the URL, you need to add available at before the URL, because that's just how URL rolls. If you see within the website, every time we're going to include a URL, we say available at. And that's just a tag that goes with the URL. So that's what you need to do when you include it. So for example, we are citing a journal that's written by Dlamini, going to say Dlamini, comma, N, which is the initial, followed by a period, always. And in brackets, the date of publication, which is the year of publication. In quotation mark, the article's title, and then followed by the journal's name in italics, and then the volume, brackets, the issue, comma, the page range, which is PP, period, the number of pages, which is the range of that article within the journal. And then you add available at, colon. The available at always goes with the colon. The punctuation is colon. So available at, colon, the URL, which now replaces the DOI. And if you put the URL, you need to say when was that accessed to show that at that time it was available, in case someone decides to take it off or not pay their domain name. You're going to put the URL, and then in brackets, you're going to say accessed, colon, the day, the month, and the year in which you've accessed that article. So if you're finding some value in this video so far, please give it a like by hitting the thumbs button down below, and also be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that YouTube can notify you as I upload new videos in the series, because there's still a lot of things that still need to be covered within the series. So for now, I'm going to just give you a short recap of what we've talked about. The first thing to remember is that the article's title should be in quotation marks. The second thing to remember is that the journal's name should be in italics, and you always need to include the volume and the issue number of the journal, and never leave out the DOI number. If one does not exist or is not listed within that article, then you can always replace it with the URL. But remember to follow that through with the access state. So now here are some mistakes to avoid that students often make. I've seen a lot of students that italize the journal article title. Do not do that, because it is only the journal names that needs to be in italics and not the title, because this is not the time to confuse the enemy, okay? What needs to be italicized is the journal's name, and what needs to be in quotation is the article's name. Do not do vice versa, or put it in quotation and italize it for some reason because you want to now emphasize that this is a title. Once it's in quotation marks, we know that's why we put it in quotation marks, to say it is a title. Second mistake to avoid is including VOL or vol before the volume number, and issue before the issue number, or NO before the issue number, just like it appears in the journal. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if you see here, we've got vol 19 and number 9. So when students write this in reference, they will include it like this. Do not do that, okay? We do not need to know that this is a volume. Just by putting a number in the reference, we already know that's a volume. And by putting this 2 in brackets after this number, we already know that's an issue. Do not confuse the enemy at this point, all right? Punctuation matter, because the punctuation communicates which element is which. So as soon as you put a number without brackets, we know it's a volume. As soon as you put the number within brackets, we know it's an issue. Just like as soon as you italize the words, we know they are a journal name. As soon as you put them in quotations, we know they are an article. Stick to the punctuation. And if you think this is too much and overwhelming, you can always download the Harvard referencing starter pack that I've included in the description down below, where you can just click and download it for free and copy and paste those examples and use them as placeholders for whenever you need to add to them into actual sources that you've used. So you can just copy and paste them in a document. And when you get a journal, you just take the journal that you've got, replace the placeholder's article's name with the article title, replace the journal's name of the placeholder with the journal name of the actual source that you have, replace the date with the date of your actual journal that you have, and keep the punctuations where they are, because that's where they need to be. All right, I got you. And did I mention that the Harvard Starter Pack, it's free, so you don't need to sweat about it, because I'm your friend and I love you and I'm on your side. So we're going to do this Harvard referencing thing together. So now it's good that we know how to reference journal articles. But sometimes the information that you're using for your research or assignment is not recorded down anyway, not in books, not in journals, but it's something that someone has said to you verbally, and they've passed on some oral information that you'd like to include. For example, interviews or notes from your lecturers, what your professors said during a classroom. It's quite important. So this is why I need you to click the video that is appearing on your screen right now, because this is the video that is going to show you how to reference interviews and class notes, the Harvard style. So what are you waiting for? Click on that video and I will see you there in a few seconds as I project to you love and grace in a way of 2 Corinthians 13 verse 14.